Hi there, this is Art and Such, and I'm going to show you how to make Gingy from the Shrek series. This is part 1, and I'm not sure how many parts we're going to have. This is a bit more advanced than some of the other patterns that I've shown you. We will be adding the mouth and the eyebrows and some of the white parts after we finish looming. Otherwise, we'll be doing this mostly on the loom. We're going to start with our legs and our arms. So to begin, I should tell you, you will need 4 purple bands, unless you're using blue for the eyebrows. You're going to need white, red for the mouth, and brown. I'm using a kind of a caramel brown color that I ordered from the Rainbow Loom site. With our loom in the offset position, middle row raised above the others, we're going to start. It doesn't really matter where you start on the loom as long as you have some space, but we'll start at the top. And we're going to begin by going down 4 times with sets of double or 2 brown bands. 3 times. We're going to do the arms first. And the next row to the side, we're going to start one peg lower, and we'll come down 3 times. Let's take a single, double it over onto itself, and stretch it across the bottom 2. We'll repeat that for the next 2 pegs. Doubled over single cap band, doubled over single cap band. Oops. And we can cap it off. You can do it as tight or as loose as you like. I'm going to keep it a little bit loose so we don't get a point. I will take a single and twist it until it's over this piece 3 times. Now we can loop it. We're going to come under that cap, and we're going to pick up the top band, which goes back to the side. And you can loom up or loop up either direction. Just take your 2 bands which are going up and bring them back. And the other side, we'll do this again. When you get to the cap bands, remember to push back with the back side of your band so that you're only grabbing the bottom 2. Now we're going to take both top sets and bring them onto our hook. Remove this from the loom. Give it a little tug and a straighten and set it aside. I'm just going to throw this onto my other hook here. On second thoughts, it can stay here. I'll just try and keep it out of your way. We're going to make a second one of those. So come down again, 3 sets of double brown bands. I'll move a little bit faster this time if I can. Go to the next row over and start just 1 peg lower. We're going to do another 3 sets of brown. And we cap them off with 3 doubled over bands. So it goes from each set of pegs except for the top pair that we have. And we cap this off 2 or 3 times. Try to have it the same looseness, the same tension as you had on your other side, unless your band is stretched out, and then you might want to do it one tighter. We're pulling to the side. We're going to loop up either side. And we'll come back under, loop all the way up again, pushing our cap bands out of the way. And onto the hook. Our legs are pretty similar. We're starting with 2 white bands, and then we'll be taking 3 sets of brown from there. This gives it a little bit of, makes it a little bit longer, and it also shows the kind of icing stitching where the kneecap meets where the legs meet. Now on the center row, same deal. We've got set of 2 white bands, starting at the peg below, and we come down 3 times with double browns. So we're going to do our caps. This time we're going to cap everything up until the white. So doubled over brown, stretching from that last peg on either row to its pair, to its match. And we'll do 2 more. And bring it onto itself. This doubling over keeps it from getting too loose. And we need 1 more just from that second peg in your set to your second peg. And we can cap it a loose cap one more time. This goes once more on the inner section where your peg is a little bit lower. We do the same thing. We're going to come under the cap. So under that top one we've just put on. We're reaching in, taking the first 2, pulling them to the side, and we're looping all the way up. And this time we're grabbing the white one at the top, bringing it to our top peg. We'll come back under that first one, get our 2 browns and bring them up. Push back the cap band and loom up again. Put your hook through your top whites and your other top whites and remove from your loom. We have 1 more to do. Once more, I'll try and speed this up for you a little bit, but I'll walk you through it again, just if you do move a little bit slower like myself. We have a set of 2 white bands, followed by 3 sets of 2 or double brown bands. And on the next row we have 2 white bands and 3 sets of double brown, same thing, but 1 peg lower. It would probably work just as well if you started at 1 peg higher, but we'll stick with this because we know it works. We're gonna cap with doubled over browns. 3 and 4. If you have a darker brown that you are using for this, you should get the exact same results for everything. It'll just look a little darker, which is self-evident, I suppose, but I know sometimes it's hard to come by certain colors depending on where you're shopping from or which part of the world you're in. Oops. I lost a couple of mine. What I'm going to do is come back through the hole and just grab them on my hook again. Twist it back around, put it back. All okay. Loop up the side. And right to the top. And make sure you're getting both of your bands in each of these or something will come loose on you. And there we go. We are going to start the layout for our body. For our head, we begin with 2 brown bands from the top peg in the center to the top peg on the side. And we'll come down to the other side, 2 brown bands. For this entire section, I will be using double or 2 bands for each piece. We are going to continue with 2 sets here on either side. I will warn you right now, our neck will be a little bit messy. It's going to be really thick there when we get to that part. So once we get there, push your bands as far as they'll go. We have 3 sets down the middle, and we can connect this all with bands from your third peg on the side to your fourth peg on the center. And the same thing on the other side. We're not really going to do a neck here, we're going to go straight into the body. 2 bands will come down to that fourth peg on the side from our middle fourth or chin peg. That's for a shoulder. And on the other side, the same thing. We have 4 sets of brown down either side from here. Still using 2 bands at a time. Just want to shake some more of these up, easier access. Here we go. 3 and 4. This takes you up until your 6th peg if you are counting up from the bottom. In the center, we're going to do 1 set of doubles, and then we're going to add the buttons. This is something I got from Elegant Fashions Gingerbread Man. She did something similar with her buttons, or the same thing really. We're going to take our button and wrap it 3 times on the hook, pull it onto 2 brown bands. Oops. And the purple I'm using is kind of a jelly kind, so it's a little bit stretchy. We're going to put these 2 brown bands now onto our next peg coming down. And we'll do it one more time for our next button. Purple, wrap 3 times. And put this onto 2 brown. Oh my, just doesn't want to stay there. Okay, here we go again. 3 loops. Got this on nice and snug. I also have a smaller end to my hook, which is really great for looping and getting in small spaces, but sometimes it's easier for the pieces to slip. And while I do have a larger one, this one's, I'm kind of partial to it. Gotten used to it. We are going to continue here with another 2 sets of double brown. So this ends just below. And we aren't going to connect it here because we will be taking our legs and separating it into 2 groups of 4. 4 loops, and those will go 4 onto our bottom side peg and 4 onto here. And this part can be kind of tricky, so really take your time with it. And now I'm turning my hook kind of backwards so that I'm pulling these on from underneath, which is where it gets really tricky, but it keeps it from twisting. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So this bottommost center peg is going to get a little bit full too. We have 4 bands, 4 loops I should say, coming onto the center. We're going to turn this back, stretch it out, and bring our other 4 onto the side. Make sure they're all on nice and snug. And we can attach our arms. 4 loops and 4 loops. And your 4th and your 5th pegs from the top. Same thing, press down with your hook pointed away from you. And then we're going to turn it back so that it's kind of upside down. You can move these onto your fingers if you find that helps too. Just want to make sure these are all on. Good. And to the other side, we're going to do 4. And 4. Oops. And 4 on your 4th peg down. And then I will leave you to make sure you've got everything in place, and I will see you back for part 2.